into our first topic, and that's going to be the Steelers pull off an ugly Monday Night Football win, beating the Browns 26-22. Browns lose Chubb for the season. Ugh, man, that is rough, rough, rough on the Browns because Nick Chubb was having a game last night. Nick Chubb on 10 carries already had 64 yards and was averaging 6.4 yards. Everybody knows that when it comes to his history in the NFL, he's the third leading runner per average at 5.3. Well, all that came to a crashing end last night when he suffered a legitimate knee injury that's going to keep him out for the rest of the season. It was so bad that they didn't want to show it back on the replay, but I did see the play, and it was absolutely brutal. It looked like a piece of wood getting cut in half, man. And it was just a very, very sad sight to see. And for a moment there, it was a little motivational for the Browns, but all in all, we know that the Browns lost a game that they should have won last night because when you look at everything and you look at the numbers, there's no possible way that this team should have loses that game in any other circumstances. But when you have turnovers and a bunch of sacks given up by your offensive line and key turnovers at key points in the game, and then you have two defensive touchdowns, usually these games get a little bit uglier than they're supposed to be. And pretty much the Browns went ahead and dropped this one due to a late turnover, which was a fumble recovery that was ran in for a touchdown. So that changed the whole momentum of the game and literally put the Browns out of contention to win this game because they had two more drives after that went absolutely nowhere. So the Browns are still learning how to truly win in the NFL. When I look at the numbers last night, this was what we call a defensive game. Both teams had their issues on third down, even though the Browns won that portion of the battle. The Browns also gained 400 yards on the ground and still wind up losing this game by 4 points. They got almost 200 yards on the ground, 200 yards passing as well, to over 200 yards passing, and they ran 81 plays to 53. You just start looking at this in this list. How? But then you look at the 6 sacks, the 4 turnovers, and the 8 penalties that all seem to be timely and crucial for this team. So this was just an absolute just wash. You draw a line through it if you're the Browns and you just move on to next week. With the Steelers, you're telling yourself, we got out of this one with our shirts still intact. You know what I mean? We didn't lose the shirts on our backs last night because this would have been an absolute panic mode situation for the Steelers if they didn't get all those fortunate turnovers and all those great sacks and everything that they were able to get last night for the win in this game. It was absolutely an incredible defensive effort from a team that literally got no offense. They had one big offensive play, which was a 71-yard broken coverage touchdown from Greg Pickett. So this team really has a lot of questions. But as I said before in many previews, and when I spoke about the Steelers, that they're a slow cooker, they're a slow starter. So expecting them to be one of the better teams in the first half of the season, you can probably go ahead and put that on the back burner. But when it comes to November and December, this team is going to be live, and they're going to be one of the better teams once they put everything together, if their quarterback can get some confidence. I feel like their quarterback lacks a little bit of confidence, and that's why he's been struggling so much in these first 2 games. But as me and Jeff said on the NFL Bet Exchange earlier, that they did play against 2 of the best defenses in the NFL, and pretty much this is what they had to show for it. All in all, the offense has supplied 19 points on the season, and that's what it is right now. So you can't expect the Steelers to be one of the better offenses at this point because their running game's not going anywhere. Their wide receiver core is down, a few receivers as well too. And it's just a real struggle right now. But with that defense, they'll be able to still be competitive in a lot of games, but a lot of their games are going to be very ugly as well moving forward. But we know that they're going to be an easy team to bet against here for the next few weeks because you can't trust their quarterback, and it's very simple with that as well too. And also, he hasn't been signed back yet, but Kareem Hunt has came to visit the Browns, and most likely he'll probably be signed by the end of tomorrow. If everything works out, if he's not too out of shape and things like that. So that's a good look for the Browns moving forward, that they're bringing back somebody who's very familiar with the system. And him and Nick Chubb did make up one of the best running back tandems in the NFL as well too over the last